North Memphis can arguably be described as the true melting pot of Memphis. It is not so much defined by the streets, but defined by the multifaceted neighborhoods that make up the overall area. The neighborhoods include Uptown, Klondike, Smoky City, New Chicago, Hyde Park, Valentine Evergreen, Nutbush, Douglas, and Hollywood. It also argued that parts of Frazier, Raleigh, and Binghamton are considered North Memphis as well. North Memphis is roughly defined by the Mississippi River, North Parkway, and the northeastern curve of Jackson Avenue. James Road and Chelsea Avenue are considered key roads in the area as well. North Memphis was started as a turn of the 20th century industrial center and would be formally incorporated into Memphis, Tennessee in 1942. The pinnacle of that era is best embodied in the Firestone Tire and Rubber Company, the plant which opened in 1936. The factory covered an impressive 40 acres and featured a towering smokestack that is still in the North Memphis skyline today. International Harvester opened its plant in 1942, which at the time was the largest farm equipment factory in the South. Other key factories that would open in the area include Maybelline, Velsicar Chemical Corporation, and multiple lumber yards. The industrial factories offered unionized middle-class salaries that made North Memphis the place to be for decades. African Americans were not immune to the lure of seeking a better life and also headed to North Memphis. Klondike and Smoky City sit in the heart of North Memphis and were the original epicenters of African American settlement in the area. The neighborhoods sit between Jackson and Chelsea Avenues, from Manassas Street on the west to Watkins on the east. The name Klondike comes from the Klondike Gold Rush in the 1890s. The community was one of the first experiments of African Americans owning their own homes, making the name befitting since it offered promise and hope. Smoky City's name origin is more of a mystery. In Smoky City, African Americans were able to live there because they served white homeowners in the area. Alleys define the neighborhood, as that's how African Americans had to move about the neighborhood, as blacks were not allowed on the main street. Meant as a form of segregation, the alley culture helped to strengthen African American community pride. Klondike and Smoky City rallied together during the Civil Rights Movement to desegregate Memphis City schools. In 1961, 13 African American students would attend 4 elementary schools to integrate them. Gordon Elementary was the school chosen for the North Memphis area. Twins Sheila and Sharon Malone were the courageous youths who stepped across the school's segregation. Now, the present-day Mary Elizabeth Malone Park sits in the community near Gordon Elementary and is named for the brave mother of the twins. Another important factor in building African American solidarity in North Memphis is Manassas High School. It was truly a testament of black willpower and collaboration to establish and build the school. Manassas High School was the first 4-year accredited black high school in Shelby County. The first Manassas High School was established in 1899 and consisted of only a 2-room frame structure. The school gets its name from the Civil War's Battle of Manassas. It was located on the west side of Manassas Street, and the first principal was William H. Foote. Thanks to community efforts led by then principal Mrs. Cora Taylor, more land was purchased, and in 1918, The second rendition of Manassas was built. This is when Manassas was started to educate as a high school, with the first senior class graduating in 1924. Manassas had the first black football team in the city, and soon basketball and baseball teams were added. Manassas would be annexed into the Memphis City School District at the turn of the 1930s. The school will continue to be led by strong principals and supported by dedicated alumni. The present-day Manassas High School was opened in 2007-2008 school year as a high-tech 21st century high school. The school birthed many musical artists, with the most famous being the world-renowned Isaac Hayes. He was influential in putting Memphis music on the global stage in the 1960s and 1970s. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2002. Manassas High School received modern-day prominence in the 2011 Undefeated documentary. The movie chronicles the 2009 football team that went on to make the school's first ever playoff appearance and highest season record of 9-2. The project went on to win an Academy Award for Best Documentary Feature in 2012. As the city of Memphis experienced tumultuous highs and lows in the latter half of the 20th century, North Memphis was not immune to its effects. Deindustrialization was a huge blow to the area, peaking in 1983, but the people have remained resilient and pivoted to other ventures. That grit is personified in the form of modern hip-hop artists from the area, Yo Gotti, Project Pat, and Juicy J, who have gone on to acclaim major success. On the ground, multiple grassroots efforts in the form of CDCs or community development corporations have led the charge to advocate and push for revitalization efforts. Thanks to their hard work, more awareness and grant funds have come into the area to improve equity, health, and environmental outcomes for its residents.